ICM and RECC have partnered up to officially give some of their whales, the whale holders of ICM, whitelist opportunities to the RECC ETF, which I don't think there's too much information out on at the moment. So we are lucky enough to have them on, and we can actually just pull up, I think we'll pull up AL, we'll pull up A1 now, and they can chop it up about what we're looking at here about the ETF.
Welcome to the show, guys.
GICM, guys.
GICM.
GMCG.
GMCG.
Hello.
GMCG.
So we got the squad here. So quickly, guys, just so you guys know, you got Ale on the left side there, founder of RECC. You got John here, COO of VIVA, and you got A1 also on the RECC team. A1, what's your role for RECC? When you say creative director, business development?
Yeah, like business development and CMO, like co-founder role, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Let me correct you a little bit. I'm not the COO. Nathan's the COO, but I am that creative guy.
That's right. But there we go. So we got some hitters on. You guys have been working together pretty closely here. How did that relationship kind of get forged, and what are you guys doing together? You want to start there?
Yeah, absolutely. I can shine some light on that. So, so basically, Reed from Fitted, who's a friend of Jay, hit us up and was like, "Hey, I want to bridge the connection between."
Can you guys hear him? Is that my connection? He's breaking up really bad for me.
I think that's your connection. Are you like in the Vineyard right now, just picking?
No. Last night I had a day off. I had the night off, so I'm at the house.
Cool. A1 sounds good on our end.
Okay,
cool. Because I know I tend to break up a lot because my connection's kind of bad. But yeah, so we touched base with Jay. He said he loved what we're doing, and he proposed us this insane project that I'm going to let him kind of do a deep dive on in a little bit. But basically, to that point, since we started RECC, we've had many different people approach us to try to do external listings sort of thing and do partnerships to list. But with Jay, we found the opportunity to really kick that off very strongly with one of the most beautiful projects I've ever seen. And if he wants to go in depth on that, I'll give him the chance to do that. It's an amazing video.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
We'll just let it run while you kind of go on a tangent here, Jay.
Yeah, so I mean, this is my baby. This is my passion project. I've been working on this for 3 years, and I'm always thinking, how can I align everything? I want to work every day, and I want everything to eventually align together. So my whole goal is, how can we do something that's in the best interest of the whole VIVA community, benefits the VIVA holders? And ultimately what we do in Bolivia is we do huge events. We sponsor concerts. We do everything we possibly can to get our name out there with Spanish influencers. And here I have a vast network with an unbelievable reach across all platforms. And basically what I've been working on is trying to, create in a Disneyland for adults, I guess you could say, but honestly, it's more of a place to create content. We're going to be able to create the most insane content you've ever seen because we're going to have a stage. We're going to have a little racetrack going through the vines. I haven't really showed you guys the property, but I have a road going through the vines. I have sports courts. There's suites in the hills people can sleep at. I'm doing a 3-hole die design golf course with 9 tee boxes to play it. And you already know that I'm going to be throwing up Viva statues everywhere, all over the property, because this is where everyone's going to be filming. Everyone's going to be creating content. The most influential people in the world are going to be showing up, creating content themselves. I'm working on a show. There's a lot going on in the background that I can't necessarily discuss right now, but a show is going to be dropping that's going to show, the ins and the outs, the businesses and the members involved. And it's just going to be one of the most amazing shows ever. And I'm expecting to get in a bidding war with Netflix and Amazon, sell that show and also have a show like what Mark Wahlberg did with his documentary and showcase the businesses, showcase the people involved, showcase the daily life, and obviously have a headquarters for Viva holders to show up. We can block out dates, do events for Viva holders specifically, but it's also going to benefit the members. So on the members side, we're gonna have amazing things. I mean, you're talking complimentary wine, you're talking, we have 45% of the Viva token locked up. This is really how you get close to us. This is how you become part of the inner circle, and we're gonna make sure that everyone benefits from that. So there's a lot of amazing drops coming. There's a lot of amazing events coming. And this is something that is going to blow people's mind, and it's kind of our unique end to do something that no one else can do. I mean, these properties are probably the nicest properties with ocean mountain views in San Diego, which is, by the way, where Solana started, in Solana Beach. I'm surfing in Solana Beach with my friends every day, and when I found out that Solana started there, that's how I kind of went down this train of, oh, we got to do everything with Solana. That's where I was born and raised too. So it's just one of those things where a lot of partnerships are coming, a lot of attention's coming to it, and it's a way to get the VIVA name out in the United States and do amazing events and build out one of the most incredible properties ever and have it attached and benefit all of the VIVA holders in a way that no one else can really do. I mean, there's going to be founding sponsors, which we're going to amplify, of course. We're also going to be throwing up RECC statues. Everyone who wants to help us and actually partner with us, they're going to benefit immensely. So it's just one of those things where how can I get everything I'm working on to align? So every day I'm at the office, 8 hours a day. You know, I don't have to, my brain isn't split into two halves. It's just one thing. Everything's aligned. Everything's benefiting everything. And that's kind of my thought process on that.
Real quick, ALA1, have you guys been out to this property yet or no?
Not yet. I'm hoping to ASAP. Jay has invited us, you know, like he's mentioned like, oh yeah, you guys should come out here. But we just haven't had the time yet.
Dude, that'd be a blast.
Yeah.
You guys have to like live stream the whole thing, do a tour and stuff.
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, Jay has sent us basically video recordings of walking through the whole property pretty much and kind of explaining everything. That video is absolutely amazing, but it doesn't even scratch the surface of how much, not just potential, but like just what's already there for the property. It's absolutely amazing. It's in such a great location, San Diego.
Yeah, it's a huge place, to be honest. Jay's videos takes like 10 minutes, and he can even show half of the property, and it's amazing. He's like filming everything, and so well here gonna be the spa, here gonna be the stage for concerts and all the that kind of stuff. That is incredible for us. And one thing I want to say now that we are here is that I believe Jay has shared with us everything he feels about this project, and we have put a lot of efforts into building an efficient roadmap to move it forward. Jay is someone who truly motivates to work with him. Like it's all the moment pushing and make things like easier. So that energy will be, you're gonna see that is gonna to be showed on our accounts and with our content. So in content terms, what's coming up is amazing.
This will be awesome for content. You mentioned here, this is the first partner project in your ETF. This is like the big development here. We're super excited for the ETF. I think one thing we want to cover today is just like, what does that look like? What does the ETF look like? This is obviously the first partner project. Kind of explain to us what that means and how that plays into the ETF that you guys are imminently releasing here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah. So
okay,
you want to go ahead?
No, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so when we launched RECC, we did individual property raises. That was successful. We saw that there was a need for it. But as we decided we wanted to scale both vertically and horizontally, we figured that the best approach would be to kind of centralize all the focus of the funds that are coming in and give investors / users a more DeFi experience and diversified exposure across all the projects that we have. So with doing this with the ETF, it makes it a lot easier to do these kind of partner listings because while you can still have the option, while we can still have the option to individually invest in specific properties, it makes it easier to just kind of, again, centralize that focus, put all the funds into one vault essentially, and provide that DeFi experience that people are looking for, where they can just park their money, earn passive yields backed by real estate, and makes it easier to list other external projects, starting off with this amazing one that we have with Jay. So yeah, that's kind of the summary of it. Ali, do you have like extra input on that?
Yeah, the thing is that if we only depends on like the properties from our realtors, the DeFi experience will be like not poor, but in contrast with with other platforms, the thing is that real estate takes too much time, and sometimes DeFi users wants to withdraw, redeem, go to try other things, and move forward, move fast. And the thing is, with real estate, you can experience very high yields, but you have to wait. And the thing here is that when we make all the marketing in the product sense, if we only focus on one product, on one big product like the ETF, and centralize all our efforts on showing only one asset at the moment, like the only asset, the ETF, and there in that situation, all our efforts is like is so much easier because we have a very nice product and we don't have to promote one property at a time. Maybe users are not convinced about one property and they lose one big opportunity, but the people can like be aware of every property we launch. So we think about the ETF, and at first was only one option, but right now gonna be the center of RECC ecosystem.
Nice. Okay. And so for that ETF, will you get a piece of every property you guys launch or list on RECC, or is it just gonna be hand selected few? How does this actually turn revenue and yield revenue? Let's take the Vineyard, for example, and maybe Jay can speak on this as well. How is that going to turn a revenue for, holders of the ETF?
Yeah, I mean, I can dive into the revenues that we can generate at the Vineyard. For example, one, it's 140 acres total. There's an incredible wedding venue. There's a restaurant on the property. I'm selling memberships. There's wine sales. There's writers' camps. I can get it in the books for record labels. You have Post Malone's camp coming. They're spending $250,000 to get a week of privacy so they can get those creative juices flowing. And ultimately, you're doing retreats for wellness communities. You're doing events, ticket sales. There's suites in the hills. I mean, obviously, the show is going. So,
John, you were spitting. We lost you, bro.
Yeah. I just got a call. Sorry, but with the Vineyard and winery specifically, there's so many streams of revenue to come. It's unbelievable. Just right now with what we have, it's unbelievable. But with what we're gonna do, I mean, it's next level stuff. And when it comes to creating a show, getting these streaming platforms in a bidding war, you're basically, with the people we have involved, the influential people that are already members, because I've been working on this for 3 years, so I have probably one of the most influential communities in the world on board. I've just been doing everything under the public's radar, making sure that this network is extremely influential and vast, and deal flow is a very important thing for me. So one, everything on the property is purchasable, right? If you want a dye design course, you want a little chip and putt at your house, you contact the dye team. I've been friends with the dye family for the last 15 years. They're very, very close to me. You can get a dye design little chip and putt. If you want to buy a statue, you can buy a statue. Everything on the property is purchasable, including the suites people sleep in. You want to make a suite, 120 square foot suite, which isn't, you don't need a permit for it. You can just plop it in your backyard. You want to turn into a bedroom, you want to turn into a poker room, you want to turn into a multi-purpose entertainment room, just buy it from us. 20% of those commissions goes back to the community. And, all of the revenues that we generate, that's also going to, benefit the ETF holders and everything like that. So that I'm just kind of going over what the revenues we can generate.
So does RECC have a piece in all of that, or what does that deal/relationship look like with you guys? Do they just have a piece of the Vineyard? Do they have a piece of the real estate? Well, I guess it's all real estate, but do they have a piece of the construction, housing? Like, what's that relationship look like, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to be funding the Vineyard, and the revenues we're generating are going back into the ETF, right? Until we pay off everybody, everyone's happy. And ultimately, it's one of those things where we're going to be selling memberships. The money we get, the ETF is going to have a preferred on all of those revenues. So everyone's going to be the happiest people are going to be people who participated in this ETF, because they're going to be getting paid back very quickly. One, because we think we're going to be able to sell these memberships extremely quickly, sell them out. As soon as I sell them out, there's been little footnotes on the website, on the ETF, that, you know, if we say it's a 12-month term, but we sell out the memberships in 3, everyone's getting paid back in 3 on our side of the fence, right? So there's going to be a lot of revenues that we can generate. Ali can speak on other properties that he's including in the ETF, but when it comes to us,
this is really interesting. I want to touch on this too, because you said the ETFs can be preferred payments. And for those that don't understand that, basically, out of all the investors, the ETF's going to get basically paid back first or earliest, which is very important. Again, like the earlier the success, the quicker that the ETF gets paid back. And I think that's something worth noting that I don't want to just gloss over real quick. So that's
yeah, on point.
Why did you choose for RECC and the ETF to be kind of those priority investors rather than?
Well, because this is a way to build in public, right? I've been doing everything under the public's radar. This is kind of my way to announce this to the public, what we've been working on. And it's one of those things where it's been self-funded. I've been slowly selling memberships for the last year and a half, under the public's radar, just word of mouth, inner circle, friends of friends. And now it's time to build in public. And I don't want to launch a token necessarily, right? We're not going to have a Vine Reserve Club token. We have the VIVA token. Also, RECC has their own token. And there's a lot of collaborations we can do that are very interesting, and we're getting extremely creative with it. But ultimately, this is a way to build in public, show people what we're doing. We've been self-funding everything, so there is no other investors. You know, the RECC team are the one and only people that we have allowed to jump in because it aligns with us. It's a perfect alignment, and we can build in public, tell our story, show everybody what we're building as we're building it, and they're going to get preferred on everything that we're doing.
Interesting.
When it comes to membership.
Can I also double click on one thing? I think we just kind of brushed over this. Did you mention that you had Post Malone and crew coming through to the property? Did I
one of the things,
hear that right?
One of the things is we've been self-funding this, and to get the property, and there's going to be a 3-story music studio on the main property in the hills. That house is turning into a music studio. There's going to be a movie theater, a state-of-the-art music studio, a little nightclub. It's going to be next level. We're calling it the Creative Clubhouse. But to get these type of music studios and record labels books for next year, it's got to be done soon, right? But we're connected to, I mean, I don't want to name drop, but the most influential musicians in the world, my team and I have relationships with, and this is exactly what they want. I mean, this is a creative space. This is something where any influential musician is going to want to book it. And, you know, whether you're a country artist or whatever the case may be, pop, R&B, anything, you're going to want to reserve this for a week, get it in the books, and bring, you know, your best producers, bring everyone to do writers camps, and just have everybody staying on the property, and, you know, get everybody in the same safe space that's, and no one's going to be bothered, and everything that we do is going to benefit the whole community, right? So it's just, but yeah, I mean, I was just going through and name dropping. I guess I should have done that, but yeah, I mean, we're connected to way more than just, you know, Post Malone's camp. That's the whole point of it being centered around music as one piece of it, because we want to create unbelievable music, bring unbelievable musicians and record labels and the producers, and this is going to be a safe space for all of them, which is a perfect place to kind of promote on X, because not a lot of people know about what goes on X. So we're keeping it, we're going public, but we're keeping it within our own communities. People who know, people who don't, we're not just going to be dropping commercials. And the big bomb that we're going to be dropping is the show. So once we drop the show and make the property famous, that's going to be like, whew, next level. Everyone's going to know about the property. There's going to be massive demand for the memberships and everything. But until then, it's a private place. I don't want people, just showing up. I'm not going to be sending out the addresses. Only members get the addresses. And then when we do events, VIVA holders, and, if we're doing an event for RECC holders, something like that. But
Jay, yeah. How many acres is this property?
So there's 2 properties that are 2 minutes from each other. The first property is 100 acres. The second property is 27 acres that we're going to be allocating for the members. There's an additional 15 acres that we're keeping private, which would be like, if you know me, you're still going to be utilizing them. It's still, members are going to have access. It's going to be amazing all around. But yeah, overall, it's it's 140 plus acres.
So essentially, you have this venue that has so many different, let's say, um, has so many ways of setting the vibe, essentially, for whether it be musicians, artists, content creators. You can come in, you can chill, you can have a great time, you can make music, you can relax. And so far, with the offering of this property that will generate value for RECC holders, RECC ETF holders, you've already booked Post Malone. And just for anyone that doesn't know who Post Malone
keep in
is,
mind, I'm trying to get the property done as quickly as possible so I can book the people I have relationships with for writers camps and get record labels involved. And it's more than that. It's some of the biggest DJs and producers and musicians. It's Post Malone is just one of many that will be utilizing the property moving forward, ultimately.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to highlight right there. I mean, this guy has the most diamond certified songs. He holds the record for top 40 hits.
Let's also not
yeah.
dive into that too much and have that be promoted too much, because it's one of those things that's coming. Nothing's locked in. That's what I'm saying. We got to finish this property to lock in some of the biggest musicians on the property.
That's where the raise through RECC kind of comes in, is what I'm assuming,
exactly.
Right?
Get it done quickly. At the moment, we're selling around 7 to 10 memberships a month, but to really build out and finish the property, and we've put in over $17 million into everything. So to date, to finish it off really quickly and get it done so I can get all of these wellness retreats, record labels, everything in the books for next year. We just need to get it done as quickly as possible. And my whole family's engineers, architects. We have, 10 teams that can help build everything. So that's why we're doing this raise. One, it's kind of a strategic marketing play, but also, we can build quicker to generate revenues faster. And, why not? We're also building in public and getting, the name out to the people that support us already. The VIVA holders and everyone in the ICM space and the world that we are in, we're lining everything. So it's going to benefit everyone.
So it's important. We got to talk about this. First and foremost, Ale, I'm assuming this is just one, and this is open to ransom or A1 as well, obviously. I'm assuming this is just one of many properties that you're going to be adding to the RECC ETF. Do you have any plans, like any idea of what plans comes next?
Yeah. As we say in other situations, the thing is that we're gonna start like a private sale with some cap, then we're gonna do a whitelist pre-sale, and then we're gonna go to public. We're gonna start with 2 of our properties and the J properties, BRC, and then one in the public sale, we're gonna put some cap also of 1 million, and if we reach that cap, or for example, if we fill one of the other properties, we have more properties in the queue to continually add. So we're gonna show only these 3 at first, but after that we're gonna add more properties, because we want to first fill these properties to complete the fundraise, and then can start to generate yields for the holders of the ETF. So we select the properties based on the space between the time between yields. So the ETF can have like continuously, or the best, like I don't know how to say, like have the yields like fluent, not separate, but
so you have consistent yield.
Growing.
What would you say the APR, APY kind of looks like, or you're expecting it to look like?
I can go a little bit into that. So essentially the options we have right now is if you want to do a liquid investment in the ETF, so basically your funds are not locked, you would be able to receive a 20 to 25% average annualized yield. And then if you were to decide to lock, so we're going to have a 6-month lock option, you're basically able to increase that by 10 to 15%. So we're looking between a 30 to 40% annualized yield if you decide to lock. And to shine some more light, so the private pre-sale is being very, very, very limited. It's only going to, let's say, other founders and project treasuries and stuff like that would inherently be guaranteed lock. So you don't have the option to not lock on the private pre-sale. There's a very limited amount of spots. And then for the whitelist, as you may have seen, that we did the partnership with ICM.run, and we're doing partnerships with other token and NFT communities that are going to have access to the whitelist. There's also a limited amount of spots, but that's where you get to decide on if you want to like 6-month lock and guaranteed increased yields, or keep it liquid and keep the yields a little lower. The other benefit to the whitelist is that there's going to be a 2% discount to the whitelist investors, as in if you enter in the whitelist in the beginning, the ETF token is going to be like 1 token for 1 USDC, for example, right? So you would be getting 1 token for 98 cents at that point. So whatever you invest in that, you're technically immediately profiting 2% on that.
Got you. Interesting. No, I really like this model. And maybe Jay, for you, where can we get memberships to the club? You said you've been selling a few of those per month. Just to understand that, where can we find those, and what's the benefit of that?
Yeah, so on the website, you have to apply. There's no just buying a membership off the website. You have to apply. My team has to vet you. The team's Adrian Contro. He's been one of my best friends for a long time. They own Contro, Remy Martin, Louis the 13th. Matthew Espinosa, he's been a good friend of mine for a very, very long time. He's an influencer, one of the original influencers, part of MagCon, and it was like a meet and greet conference where 20,000 crazy girls would go up just trying to get his signature. He was super close with all the MagCon guys like Shawn Mendes and just a ridiculous amount of people. So and then Tyler Gaffney, he played for the Patriots. He has multiple Super Bowl rings, and just basically this is the board. And we have to basically approve everybody that applies. But if you look at the application, there's a section that says, are you a VIVA holder? If you are, you're more likely to be approved. We're going to be setting up an interview. And basically, once you guys get locked in, it's 10% down, and we work out a monthly payment plan. And then once you actually pay off the last payment, you own the digital asset. So this is going to be on the Solana. We're going to be sending you digital assets. There's a silver card and a gold card. You can look at the website on the memberships section to actually understand what I'm talking about. And basically, yeah, we're making it super, the payment plan super flexible. If we like you, if you're cool and we think you're going to be a value add and a cool member, we're basically going to approve you and create a very flexible payment plan so they can get involved. And ultimately, VIVA holders, we're going to do something where we're blocking out weeks and stuff to do events specifically for VIVA holders and kind of create this community, this headquarters, this place that people can be proud of, and that you're going to see, VIVA and all the founding sponsors like RECC, you're going to be seeing those statues, you're going to be seeing content produced, everyone's welcome there. But ultimately, members are going to get access 24/7, 365. We're giving them that ownership experience. We're kind of blurring the line between access and ownership, where if you can show up, there's going to be a members app, which they can reserve days, nights, tea times, everything through the members app. And that's what the digital asset grants you access to, right, is the members app, and only approved people get access to that. But basically, we have, facial recognition software. We did some smart city initiatives in South America. So we have stuff that we're integrating. We're also integrating AI into the surveillance system, so it's super secure. But basically, you show up to the gate and you're a member, the gate's just going to open. And you might, on your member's profile, have your favorite interest, have, your favorite song, and, the speaker will just play your favorite song. It'll recognize that Dinero Dom just showed up. Gates will open and your favorite song's playing as you're driving up.
What's the Dom walk-up song? I got to ask the Dom.
Dude, I don't know if I had to think right now, it would just have to be Rocky Balboa. Do-do-do-do.
That's the one. I love it.
And to give shine a little light on a little of the stuff that Ale was mentioning earlier. So I've participated in a couple of other, like two and a half other real estate tokenization startups in the past 2-3 years, doing some consulting, doing some business development, trying to get them off the ground. And the main issue that they ran into was deal flow. The beautiful thing about RECC is that we really have no shortage of deal flow at all. And so that kind of plays into the part where you're saying like, okay, so you guys are starting off with this many properties in the ETF. How do you intend to scale it? For us, it's not difficult to add more properties in the ETF, so long as we have the fundraising capabilities. So that's why we have the cap there initially. And if we need to raise that cap, listing another property in the ETF might take like a couple weeks to a month. So there's room for kind of ever expanding. And if you go back to the Vine Reserve Club website, you can see how the stages are set up. So phase 0 is already completed. And then you have like the phase 1 through 5. You can see that we've broken this up into different stages where each stage will be listed in the ETF. So once one aspect of it is fully funded, we can basically kick that off and get it into development and be ready to list the next stage and kind of just go through it like that. So so on the deal flow side of things, we have that locked in.
Cool.
I had a quick question just in terms of like the fee structure. Like how does RECC fees work? Do you guys take like an AUM fee and then transaction on the ETF token? Can you just provide a little clarity there?
Yeah, we have like two kind of fees. One is our natural business fees that are from the loans to the realtors, in this case to Jade, that is 1% of the loan. That is our normal fee for every project. And the other one for the ETF gonna be 0.1% of redemption fees. So that is the two different fees we have here.
Interesting. I'm seeing you have a couple phases here. So when you say the ETF, the issue isn't deal flow. The issue is just like, getting those raises first. That's what you want to focus on. So this will be the focus for a while. You got 15% APY phase 1, $250,000 raise, $500,000 raise for phase 2 here, 50% APY, 15% APY, excuse me. Both of these 24 months. And let's see phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. How long do you expect for all of these to kind of complete? Or is it if this fills, then you'll move on to phase 2? If phase 2 fills, you move on to phase 3, like kind of just rolling situation?
Yeah, it's going to be more of a rolling situation. So that's why we have the cap. So we're going to have all like our properties, this one, and then I don't know if we can talk about it yet, but we have a couple of more big name.
Yeah. Talk about everything.
There's always alpha. Remember, it's better than sending a tweet that'll get front run by bots. So drop it here for your community.
That needs to be a clip for us. We just need the clip of Ale saying, "Here you can leak everything."
Yeah.
Okay, Ali, you can kind of talk about those other things if you want.
No, the thing is that we have to be conscious about the scale of the platform. So we're starting, we divided the Vineyard into small groups. Like inside the Vineyard, Jay has like many business units that generate yields. So we're gonna start with the smaller ones, and then after we can have some liquidity, be stronger, we're gonna go to the phase 2, that is that doubles the size from the first one. And I think if we make some more hype and shows how the ETF gonna work and can like make people aware that this is the first real estate ETF on Solana that is right now fundraising a Vineyard in San Diego, California. And this is one of the biggest, on real estate in Solana. So once people be aware of what we are building here, I think that we're gonna be able to fundraise more and more parts of this Vineyard. in the other side, we have our own properties that we can manage the allocation from the ETF to improve the user experience in that case, and to improve how properties are filled. So we think that here with Jay, we work a lot in this roadmap, and we are confident that as soon as we can like fundraise some phases, we're gonna go to other phases, but with other experience, with more public, with more people knowing about this asset, and then I think is everything doable here. What you are seeing.
So, I'd be interesting to know, are you guys gonna, obviously your focus here is Solana, it's crypto natives, but I know a lot of, there would be a lot of people that would kill for 15% APY. Are you going to be reaching outside of kind of this core Solana user base to find people to help with these raises, fill these raises, get a piece in this? Or are you keeping promotion mainly Solana based from the RECC platform on Twitter? Like, just how are you going about that?
I mean, first and foremost, we're going to see the results, see what happens. And I have a lot of people interested on my end, whether they're in real estate or, telecom, that I will offer it to, but I'm going to give everyone a first chance. And my whole thought was, there's always surprises coming. So if someone participates in all the phases, there's going to be some incredible things that we're going to offer them, whether it's comes from, the lock supply or memberships or whatever the case may be. We have some cool things hidden up our sleeves, but we are definitely, if it's too slow, we will offer this to, friends and families and businesses and associates of ours that, are very interested and excited about everything we're working on.
Very cool.
And the other thing is that through RECC, we are integrating with Helio, which is going to allow us to kind of take payments from cross chain. So we're going to be able to take BTC, ETH, Polygon, which kind of gives another avenue for marketing as well, because we don't just simply need to target Solana investors, even though that's our core. We can kind of diversify that approach with across like other chains. And the other thing I want to mention is that with investments, we started off primarily only doing USDC investments. Because of our integration with RainFi, we were able to use their protocol to take investments in our $RECC native token, and then collateralize that for USDC. Because you're collateralizing it, there's a fee, like a 10% fee or something like that. But we were able to basically give our RECC holders, our RECC users, the ability to invest in properties with, and in turn the ETF, with RECC tokens. Now, something that we've been discussing since recently is, okay, if we're able to do that with our token, so long as we have the lenders and the protocols to provide liquidity for that and to take the token as collateral, we can kind of expand this and allow for other tokens to be invested into the ETF. So let's say you're a whale of some other, like Launchcoin whale, right? Just an example. If you're holding a lot of Launchcoin,
Viva. Viva is a great example.
Viva's a great
Viva whale. Come on.
I wasn't gonna say.
He wasn't gonna drop it. I could tell. I was just waiting. I was laughing.
No. I wasn't gonna say it just because I didn't want to leak something before. You know what I'm saying?
So this is official.
Leak it.
All right,
Leak it.
I'm leaking it. All right. So essentially, you're a Viva holder, you're a Viva whale, Viva's going to 10x, right? You're like, okay, in a couple months, Viva's going to be 10x. I am not selling my positions. What I can do then is like, okay, if I want to hold this Viva, instead of just letting it sit there and do nothing, let me put that money to work and earn, let's say, 20% APY by plugging that Viva into the ETF, where in the back end, we're not selling the positions in Viva. We are taking that and collateralizing it through, let's say, RainFi, and turning that into USDC and investing it for them so that they can earn yields on their VIVA token. And this has effectively taken those VIVA tokens out of circulation as well, temporarily. So we're doing that with our token. We're going to be doing that with VIVA. And we're also now going to be probably offering it to other people in the ecosystem. We've had a conversation yesterday with another big ecosystem project in the Believe ecosystem. And I just thought it's like, okay, we have all these top Believe projects. We should be a tight-knit network. We should offer this because inherently, aside from integrating a flywheel, most of these speculative Believe tokens don't have a deep inherent utility that they can offer aside from maybe staking. This is a good way to just kind of take those tokens out of circulation and also provide yield for those investors so they don't have to just sit on a bag that's just sitting there. And then on top of that, bring more funds into the ETF. So it's kind of like a full circle, everyone wins sort of situation.
So, and I want to touch on RainFi because this is really interesting. Let's say I use my VIVA token to generate APY. Firstly, is that yield paid out in USDC, Solana, or VIVA?
USDC.
USDC.
Properties
Okay.
USDC. Yeah.
So even if I use VIVA or RECC as collateral, I'm getting paid out in USDC.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got you. And then
I mean, you could just as easily take that USDC and then buy VIVA or buy RECC and then return it back that way. But just makes it cleaner to do with USDC. It's like one less layer. Okay.
And so you just mentioned looping. So when I invest this into this ETF with Rain, like you said, you can borrow collateral against that. So you're saying I could invest VIVA into this project. I could then borrow against the ETF. What does liquidations look like on that? How can you kind of explain some of that to me? If the ETF goes down, could I suffer a liquidation? If VIVA goes down, could I suffer liquidation? Like, what does the liquidation look like in the terms around if I borrow against my position here in this ETF?
So something about the ETF, and I'll let Ali explain a little further on this, but something about the ETF is it's not going to work like our inherent initial LP tokens. It's a different model, similar to, let's say, like DeFi Carrot or Jito Sol or something like that. The price of the ETF token only increases over time. So it doesn't inherently decrease because as those yields are paid out, we're injecting liquidity into the ETF token. And then the price of the token kind of goes up so that at that point you can exit and get your yields when you redeem. So if it goes up X amount of percent, you can withdraw and redeem, and then so if the token was $1 initially and it had a 20% increase, now the coin is worth $1.20, and then when I exit, I would get that $1.20 out of it. So the actual ETF token does not decrease in price. We really wanted to focus on that so that we could give users a much more DeFi experience. So yeah, it's not like our original LP tokens where we just had an LP token, we provided 10% liquidity into it, and then if people wanted to withdraw, they would have inevitably lose money if they did that. So
one thing to clarify here is that the ETF doesn't work like a normal token. It's not like, for example, I can go if here all of us start to invest in the ETF and for example the price start increasing. If one of us sell, you can take all the yields and stuff. Like the ETF works with a smart contract that assigns you the initial capital that you invest at the first time and calculates your yields depending on the maturity of your tokens inside the smart contract. So it's not like we can dump between each other, and it doesn't work like that, like a normal token, but it's a smart contract that calculates yields and doesn't affect other investors that are inside the smart contract.
This is a lot of information. There's a lot to read up on your ETF. Where can I get more information on that in free time? Are there docs or anything out yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have docs. We're preparing further ones, a lot more graphics and stuff like that to kind of get this educational side rolled out, because we feel that a lot of the, not just marketing, but the usage of it comes from being informed and educated on it. We're also going to be having, like, the website you see now is not the website that's going to be up in a couple weeks. We have V2 of the website rolling out, which is going to have a lot more centralized focus on the ETF, a lot more information there. So yeah.
Can I ask really quick, just around like we love to balance these with disclosures and maybe like risk profile. I don't know if you have like a view on how you view risk with this product, but if you wanted to address any of that, just as a balance.
Yeah, every realtor to enter to RECC at this stage must give something as collateral. So this is this collateral asset is for the loan that we issue to the realtor. So on our side, we always make a comparison between platforms that wants to hold everything on the RWA chain, for example, some platforms, and that is why most platforms fails, because it's too much to handle. Wants to own the properties, make the legal thing, and have the DeFi platform, and all at the same time. It's like you need a big team. And in this case, what the business model that we are making is to focus only into the crowdfunding part, and thus don't own by our own the properties. So the thing here is that we issue from our legal entity on Emirates a loan to a realtor, a verified realtor, and the realtor must put some collateral. In most cases are the same property that you can check out on the documentation. And after that, we release the funds for after the fundraising. And if everything is in well terms, nothing is like liquidated or anything. So this is always any investment, and more real estate has its own risks. But I think that this model is at the bottom of the risk profile in real estate for the nature of how we are proceeding.
Yeah, and Jonathan, you mentioned the membership is a digital asset. Are the memberships tradable after the fact? So let's say that I buy a membership. If the only way for someone else to get in, a year from now, is to buy memberships that are offered for sale, is that how it works?
Yeah, I love that. So basically, right now, you're buying it off the website, you're applying, you're getting approved, boom, you own the membership, it's locked into the members app. You can unlock it, trade it, whether we're going to have a collection on OpenSea. If you buy it on that collection, that doesn't mean you're approved as a member. You then have to lock it into the app. That's going to trigger an interview in like 48 hours. And we're going to have to, there's a full KYC process. We're going to know everybody involved. We're not just going to, it's kind of the issue of a lot of these digital communities and why there's not a Bored Ape Yacht Club physical clubhouse, right? It's because they don't know who their 10,000 holders are. And you could have some child pedo or some, murderer walk into your property and, you just don't know. So the KYC aspect of it is very important, but ultimately they have to lock it into the members app to be granted full capabilities of everything within that app, right? The app allows you to reserve days, reserve nights, reserve tea times, reserve the music studio, reserve the restaurant, the members lounge above the restaurant, whatever you want is through the members app. So to get access to the full capabilities within the members app, and you're not a member, right? From the website, it's going to be locked in the members app, but you can unlock it and transfer it out and you can resell it. And if someone's very confident in their eligibility to become a member, because they are just, they're cool and they're confident that when we interview them, we're going to approve them, they can buy it and kind of bypass the wait list, because otherwise there's a wait list. I'm making it very, very simple within the app to buy, sell the memberships, and anyone on the wait list can tempt members, constantly be tempting them with offers. But you can also, if you want, list it on unlock it and list it. And I'm sure there will be a few that will be in circulation that, just they're on OpenSea and people are paying a premium for them, and then trying to bypass the wait list, lock it into the members app, and that's going to trigger an interview. And if we approve them, boom, boom, they're going to get access to the members app and all of the
Yeah.
capabilities in it. But we're keeping it, curated, because there's a lot of influential
Randoms.
and very close people of mine, and just, we just want to make sure that we know everybody. And when we're doing events, with some incredible musicians and DJs, and there's 300 people there, or retreats or whatever, like, everyone can be introduced to everyone. It's just that safe, environment, and it's an extremely strong community, right? We're going to constantly be doing things to strengthen our community, whether it's retreats or sweats every month. I have like a sweat lodge, a little sacred area in this area called Gemstone Mountain. But ultimately, that's kind of what we're doing. Make sure that it does stay private, it does stay exclusive, and we don't just have, someone with a crazy, criminal history or background, or some record, just walking onto the property.
Totally. And I actually wanted to relate this back to the ETF in a second. So for those listening, there is going to be like a quasi, let's say, market price for these memberships that will be circulating. Obviously, if they're trading on OpenSea and maybe elsewhere, there's a market price there. So let's say, like, hypothetically, a huge music artist, like millions and millions of followers, decides, you know what, I love what Jonathan and the team is doing, I'd like a membership. All of a sudden, it almost like reprices everyone's membership, because everyone else might see that and be like, oh, I also want a membership, right? Supply and demand. Will that reflect in the ETF somehow? Or is there a connection there to potentially the market value of the underlying memberships changing?
Well, the memberships inside the Shay projects are part of the cash flow. So these memberships could be generated because the spa, the restaurant, the stage that Jay is like fundraising there. So as this is part of the revenue that this property is gonna generate. So in some part, if for example Jay can, for example, accelerate the construction or whatever, thanks to the memberships, because the cash flow improves. Well, in that case, the paybacks for the ETF gonna be earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, as I've said before, there's already some of the most influential people in the world involved. They're close friends of mine, and when you see the locker room at the Creative Clubhouse, right, and you see the names on the lockers, and you see the barrels in the wine production facility, and you see the name on the barrels, because we're going to be allowing, members to customize their own barrels with one of the best winemakers in the world, and it's going to be complimentary on the house, right? So it's going to be something that the sulfites levels are different. This is like some amazing European wine, and there's certain incredible things that we can do that are kind of in the gray area, but ultimately, when you're not purchasing wine, it's not being sold for commercial grade, and it's for personal consumption. There's some unique things you can do. But at the end of the day, when people see the names on the barrels, the names in the lockers, we're keeping it private, because I want people to feel safe, no matter how famous, whether you have 100 million followers or not. Like, you're a human being, and I'm not trying to. That's why I kind of, didn't like that I did a little name drop, but there's so many names I could drop, and I just did a little something. But at the end of the day, we're not one to sell this based on the names involved. People will see very soon, the type of concerts, the musical performances that we can do, and the guests we have. I mean, as I mentioned, the names involved, my best friend and roommate in LA, Matthew Espinosa, and he's been my friend forever. I mean, you can look him up. His network is vast. Our networks are vast, and a lot of these people are super excited, and they want that safe space. They don't really know what we're doing on this, going public about it. I've been keeping everything under the public's radar, but at the end of the day, we're opening it up to our communities, and we care about what our communities want to provide as much value as we can to our communities. So that's kind of what we're doing ultimately right now. But yeah, I mean, of course, that's
totally. Hey, everyone's got to act right. Everyone's got to act right. Like the vibe here, I understand what you're trying to do. The vibe is good, and everyone's got to act right, behave themselves, be adults, and
We're trying to set
contribute.
it up where it's like treat the property as if it's your own, because you're going to get
Absolutely.
that ownership experience without the headache. You don't got to deal with the maintenance of the vines, the payroll,
Yeah.
operations. Running a vineyard is a pain in the ass. It's a headache. You know what I mean? And you get to show up, treat it as if you own it, and it's all going to be self-serve. Like I said, there's surveillance system, there's AI in the surveillance system. So, there's facial recognition software. We're going to have drones that survey the perimeter that dock on a battery every 8 hours. It's going to be on the honor system, self-serve. You show up, the bars, the members lounges, the creative clubhouse, like help yourself to snacks, drinks. We just say keep track of inventory, the reds, the whites. The members are going to get immense value out of this, and it's something that no one's really doing, but we're bringing back that ownership experience, and we're almost making just this access through this membership more appealing than ownership. Right? You get that ownership experience, you get that hosting experience, you get everything that ownership, is why people love ownership without the headache. So that's kind of our thinking on that.
I think we covered a ton here. We covered the ETFs, we covered the Vine Reserve Club membership, we covered yield, we covered how can you participate for the ETFs? How can I say get a piece of that?
Right. Yeah. So we have the private presale. That's not for everyone, of course. Very limited seats. Let's talk about the whitelist. So if you are a part, just off rip, because we have other communities that we're working with. I'll use ICM.run as an example. Because they're the first one that we did it publicly. Basically, if you are an ICM.run whale of the token, or if you're a whale of the NFT holdings, you basically get a chance to get a spot, kind of like a first come, first served basis on the whitelist. It's going to be a $1,000 minimum, and you are getting a 2% discount, like I mentioned before. So for every $1 token that you buy, you're going to be paying 98 cents on. And if you choose to lock that, it would be a 30 to 40% annualized APY. And if you choose to keep it liquid, withdraw anytime, you're looking at a 20 to 25% yield. So yeah, I'd say that if you want to get access to the whitelist, definitely hit up the communities that we're partnering with. ICM.1 is the first example, and then eventually we're going to be going to more of a retail release, which is going to have a much lower entry cost. Obviously, you're not going to get the benefit of getting a discount and making money right away. Essentially, you will probably have we're still discussing the minimum. We initially had a $100 minimum, but we might even bring that lower to like $1. Or $10, depending on if we want to do that or not, because we understand that a lot of people are just going to try it out and try to see how it works at first, and then with that you get the same kind of deal where you're getting like flat across the board. You choose a liquid investment, pull out anytime, 20 to 25%, and then if you lock it, you get as high as 40% annualized.
And that lock is 6 months, right?
Yeah, 6 months long. And then also keep in mind that we're going to be, we're in conversations to get listings with other protocols. So there's a lot of other lending protocols and stuff like that provide passive yields that already have a ton of liquidity. So in listing with them, we give their investors an option to diversify their into a real portfolio with their ETF. So could even invest on those other platforms and get into the ETF as well.
Got you. Okay, I think that's good from my end, guys. What are you thinking?
No, I think we covered quite a bit here. I mean, any kind of final thoughts from RECC, from the Viva team, Jay, ALA1, anything you guys you're excited about? I mean, anything you want to leave as far as closing thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say that, so with the ETF and all this talk about flywheels and stuff, with the ETF, it becomes a lot easier and more capable to integrate a flywheel for the native RECC token, because those funds are all focused in one place. It's easier to get profits, to make returns and stuff like that. And the way that our model is right now is we take our company profits and re-inject them back into the coin. I actually got a message earlier in this call that we just burned another $8,000 worth of REC. So yeah, that happened on the call. And so what we do is we have like a flywheel pot. We'll buy back a certain amount and then we'll burn that. And then we also leave amounts for, let's say, marketing or in the future when we do staking and stuff like that. And also with the ETF, we're going to be integrating some sort of leaderboard system where you can earn points to the leaderboard and kind of a little bit of a gamification, similar to other protocols that do the same. And based off of your participation in the platform, however that may be, you will earn points and qualify for airdrops for the REC token. And keep in mind, we're not going to be airdropping any more than we buy back, right? For the sake of token price and sell pressure and stuff like that. So we buy back and burn a lot more than we airdrop. But all this is going to become much more fluid and stuff. And especially with the advent of the Flywheel API through Believe that I know is getting much more solidified. Once we integrate that, we can make it much more automated and do that through the ETF as well. So it's just going to continuously keep pumping and raising floors for the REC token. And then obviously you talked about before, being able to invest in properties with REC, which also takes those tokens out of circulation and kind of offering that as a utility for other ICM projects like VIVA.
How much, if I can ask, how much are you guys going to get when it comes to skin in the game? We want to see you guys investing into the ETF, investing in these properties yourself. What kind of funding does it look like? Do you have a flywheel where some of that goes back towards investing in your own ETF and investing in these properties yourself?
Yeah, we'll be investing in the properties ourselves as well, because obviously we want to have skin in the game. I think off rip, we're going to have we're going to be getting into the pre-sale ourselves. And yeah, from there, so the pre-sale has a cap. So we're probably going to hit that cap and then per participant, and then kind of go from there and keep basically injecting money into the ETF to kind of support it and pump that up. Whether that's through belief fees or whether that's through the yields that we get from completing the projects or the redemption fees, stuff like that. We kind of have two things to cover, right? We're going to be doing it not only for the ETF, but we're going to be continuously supporting and re-injecting liquidity into the REC token as well, which I know a lot of people love.
Cool. Thank you. That's an important breakdown there. John, one thing I wanted to cover too, I just remembered this here at the tail end of this conversation, but you posted this cryptic tweet and there's no better time to talk about it here than with the REC team. You said, one of the things that excites me most is tokenizing assets. This week, we've been exploring cell towers. And we know that you've talked about this in the past. Cell towers are a very privatized industry. It's hard to get into, but they have very good, stable, long-term, like 30-year contract yields. Maybe just talk about that real quick and then give us any hints. Are you guys working together on something in this aspect?
Yeah, so I actually brought this to RECC's attention, and they're super interested. There's more coming in the future on that. Basically, you'd want to do it in bundles, so it'll be around 20 cell phone towers. We digitize them. It would be the royalties off the towers. There would be digital tower owners, and that's more of something that is coming in the future. That's in the works, and it's super exciting. It's definitely going to come for us. No one else can really, do those types of deals, and that's something that we're going to offer. So that's coming in the future. RECC is definitely going to participate. Eventually, we're going to bring that opportunity to their community. But first and foremost, we have to iron out all the details and figure it out. And there's a lot going on right now. Like shout out to Solana for the repost. I know there's a lot more exciting stuff coming down the line. We have a lot of amazing podcasts with amazing guests that we're going to be releasing. A lot of amazing content. I mean, everything's so bullish for VIVA. Don't even get me started on that. That's a whole another podcast. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, it's coming. We're not forgetting about that's a huge opportunity, and we love everything REC's doing. So we're gonna bring REC on board as much as we can, and include all of the value that we can provide them. And I know that they're doing the same for us. So yeah,
love it.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that. So the main focus as of recently is getting the structure and everything down for the VRC, because that's been the main priority. But definitely with the advent of those towers, having a stable yield-bearing asset like that is absolutely beautiful for something like the ETF, because not only do you get you get recurring APYs on that, right? So definitely that's going to be a huge thing. We'll shed some light on that in the future once maybe we'll come back on the show and talk about it or something.
Sure.
But
yeah, it's another show for sure.
Yeah.
And leak everything.
But yeah,
Yeah, there
everything.
we go. That was lots of leaks there. We love that. Yeah, guys. Well, I think that really does it. So I appreciate you guys coming on. We got a ton to look forward to. Where's the best place we can keep updated with this for you guys? Just going to be your Twitter channels?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
Twitter,
sure.
and also we have a Discord channel for holders and for whales also, and also we have a group chat on Telegram for our whales. So that are our channels, and I want to make some final take about everything, shorter, like about the vision. I think that the jump into real estate is the next step for the Solana blockchain. It's a natural step that it's gonna take. So we are here as one of the first one, trusting the process, and I'm waiting for everything to be done on term, because we are very confident of what we are building.
Absolutely. Well, we saw Solana just gave Viva the retweet yesterday, so maybe RECC is next up.
Hope so.
Nice.
And I think we already got. I think we got one from. We got one from Toli. I think we got one from Solana as well. But definitely, we're definitely next up in terms of that.
The Solana retweet went for one of our guys, so it counts as one.
We'll take it. All right, guys. We appreciate you coming on. Exciting stuff.
All right, guys. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll chat soon.
Peace out. Obviously.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Cheers.